Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 2, Tottenham 1. And United, I tell you what, sent from heaven. Angel Gomes announces himself on the tour as a fantastic prospect for Manchester United, which many people knew anyway, but a fantastic goal. And I tell you what, if Messi scores that, people don't shut up about it. 1-2 with Mata, running towards the goal. You're thinking pass back, cut back, and then he just slides it in through someone's legs into the bottom corner. Welcome to Aidan Lynch, Manchester's latest member of the United Stand Members Club. But I tell you what I want to talk about. I think the tour in general, and Norway's not the tour. Cardiff against Milan's not the tour. This tour has been Perth, Singapore, Shanghai, and you've got to assess the tour in general. And I think concerns are that transfers are essential, and they're still no closer. Senior players are playing shit like they did last year, and young players are showing us what great talents they are. But can you go into a 38 game Premier League season plus Europa League plus the Cups with young potential? No, you can't. Like, the class of 92 were world class, and they still had Keane, Bruce, Schmeichel, Cantona to nurture them. These young lads cannot take the pressure of Manchester United's last 6 years and turn us into a relevant side. They need good players around us, and I think we've come out of this tour with some really exciting things, but we're going to come out of this tour with a lot of unanswered questions as well. I mean, look, Lingard, naturally fit. I expected him to have a great tour. Bang average tour. What's going on with Lingard? Matic is getting worse. Mata is just too slow. Even though he got an assist, he's just too slow. There's a lot of questions from that United side. The midfield is bereft of depth. It's like we're gonna have problems next season, because for me, McTominay, Pereira and Pogba are our best midfield three. After that, Fred gives you some hope, but that's it. We're really lacking depth in the midfield, and apparently we're not looking to sign players that would be perfect for us. Up front, I think we've got lots of options. Defensively, look, Eric Bailly. I've put a team there on the left, which I think is arguably the team that Hollywood would start with against Chelsea if we don't sign any players. Obviously, Eric Bailly won't be one of those players. He is Stretch Armstrong, isn't he? I mean, he gets himself injured by getting into stupid positions, and he's doing a double bloody in the air splits, and he goes off injured after 5 minutes. It's like, it doesn't matter how good Eric Bailly is, if he can't play for like 70% of the season, then he's irrelevant. You may as well play me at centre back. So very sad about Eric Bailly, but you can see why the clubs are looking for centre backs, because we've got loads of centre backs, but they're just not good enough. But all in all, in relation to the game, I thought, United winning it's a nice thing. First half, brilliant. I loved the first half. I thought the way the front six of McTominay, Pogba, Pereira, Martial, James and Greenwood pressed collectively is how you press. And the defence we had was weak, but Spurs couldn't get through the press, so it worked really well. Second half, our defence was strong, but they were overworked because that midfield... Look, Matic, you can't press with Matic. He's too slow. And the goal we conceded to Lucas Moura, it drops high in the air to Lucas Moura on the edge of the box, and Matic is closing him down. Before Moura shoots, he has 3 touches of the ball. The 4th touch is the shot, and Matic is no closer to him. That's abysmal, but he's just so slow. And that really is going to be a problem for us next season, because I think he'll be considered a first teamer, and we'll see the same problems as last season with Matic. And he's 31, he's only going to get slower, and he's not progressive either. Take away, even if he was quick, he's not progressive with the ball. So he's a big issue. Mata's too slow for the press. I love Mata, but, so the front six in the second half, 2 of them are too slow to press. Lingard's invisible. He's not had a very good tour. So Rashford starved. Gomes didn't get loads of the ball, and when he did, he scored a great goal. And I thought Fred had a steady second half, but, ultimately, you can't replicate the first half performance with the second half team because it's not good enough. And that exposes the weakness of Manchester United. What have we done in this summer so far? We've brought in a fantastic right back and a potentially decent winger in Daniel James. We still haven't got the centre back. We still haven't strengthened the midfield. And we are 2 weeks away from this window closing. And I'm concerned. I mean, look, the positive is, and you should always search for the positive is the way we've played football on this tour, with the progressive football on the front foot, the tenacity, the pace. When Matic hasn't been on the pitch because he can't do it, and Mata's not been on the pitch, it's worked really well and we've looked really good. On top of that, you've had glimpses of Greenwood, Tahith Chong, Wan-Bissaka looks a very, very good signing. We've had glimpses from Daniel James, looks like a good signing. Today, Angel Gomes stepped up to the plate. McTominay looks good. Pereira was fantastic. I mean, smash a like on the video if Andreas Pereira was your man of the match, because I just want to say, he only played 45 minutes. He got an assist. He was fantastic. He was everywhere. His passing was good. He likes to keep hold of the ball. And I tell you what I really liked about Pereira that I haven't seen in a United shirt for bloody ages is every bad tackle, he was there pushing the player away, getting involved, getting in people's faces. And he wasn't the one being tackled. Aggression, passion. Loved it from Andreas Pereira. So he was my man of the match. Smash a like on the video for him. But these players, Mason Greenwood, Scott McTominay, Andreas Pereira, Angel Gomes, Tahith Chong, how many of those 5 players will actually get any game time next season? And even if all 5 of them do, they need players around them to nurture them. They're going to be inconsistent because they're potentially good players. And that's what worries me about Manchester United is the standout players on this tour have been the players that I don't think will get loads of game time. And if they do, we're going to have to be patient with them, because I don't think Scott McTominay can go and play United for every game next season and be good. Because he's potential, he'll be good in some games, but in other games he won't be. Same with Pereira. And United, if we want to get into the top 4, you can't do what Everton do and have a good game here and there and then a bad game here and there, because that's inconsistent. And United have got so much talent that I think we're so reliant on that talent that we're going to be inconsistent. We needed to bring experienced players into that team. So Harry Maguire would be an experienced player. But the midfield, apart from Paul Pogba, he's the only experienced player because we let Herrera go for nothing and Matic is on the decline. So you're basically going to have to put Pogba with Fred and McTominay, or Fred and Pereira, or McTominay and Pereira. And that's over 60-70% of your midfield is pretty inexperienced. And we need to bring a midfielder in. And, it should be Bruno Fernandes. I don't know what the club's doing about that. But, yeah, I'm very excited about the future of Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think the way we play and some of the talent we've got coming through, if Gomes isn't going to be on the bench, get him on loan, because people will be queuing up. It was a fantastic goal, but the transfer activity has been shocking, and we are games are won and lost in the midfield, and we're weak in the midfield. I think, as I said, McTominay, Pogba, and Pereira were great today, but they won't be able to play every single game anyway. Where's the depth? United's midfield is a major concern going into this season, and of course, the biggest thing of all is, do you definitely know that Paul Pogba's going to stay at Manchester United? Because we don't know. We don't know whether he's going to stay. I think Pogba's had a good tour. He's shown experience. He's shown professionalism. But somebody said to me the other day he had to go on that tour because Adidas told him to. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not. He went on the tour. He had a good tour. But will he be part of the team next season? If he is part of the team, is he only part of the team for a year? Where are we building our midfield from? Because in a year's time, Matic is going to be even worse. Pogba might be gone. Where's the midfield for United? So I think it's been a very good tour, but I think ultimately I worry about what we're trying to achieve. Dave saved, Daniel Kurtz passes and assists, Martial clinical, Aaron tackles, slow Matic, stupid Eric, Scott DeBoss, and breathtaking run and goal from Angel, says Shim Sundar Singh. And Andre the Beard says, Mark, do you think we will be forced to buy a centre-back now that Bay is out for the foreseeable future? I think Eric Bay will be out for quite a while, but I think we will sign a centre-back anyway because that's what we need to do. We know about the Bruno Fernandes thing. We'll talk about that in a moment's time. But look, I sit here 2 weeks from the transfer window and nearly 3 weeks from the game against Chelsea. Nearly 2 weeks from the game against Chelsea. And I think that I'm worried. And I'm not worried, if that makes sense. I'm optimistic about our future and the manager and the way we're playing football. But the same problem remains, that the experience in that team is still the experience that was in the team last season that let us down. And where's the development for these young players to come in and learn and be nurtured and cared for? Because I don't trust the first teamers. So I expected more transfer activity. I really did. And at this stage, we haven't actually had it. And what are we going to get done in the next couple of weeks? Well, maybe we get Harry Maguire and we get a midfielder. But I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, my worst case scenario is we sell Lukaku and Pogba and we just bring Harry Maguire and Milinkovic-Savic in. It's not enough. I think it's absolutely essential that Paul Pogba plays because he's the only experienced midfielder that we've got that's actually playing very well at the moment. So, yeah, that does worry me a little bit. Why is Marcus not in your videos anymore? He never does these. He never does the match reactions. He used to do the watch-alongs. He doesn't want to do it anymore. I've spoken about that loads of times. That's not relevant to a match reaction, really, is it? The interesting thing is, who would you play up front? I wanted to ask the live comments about this. So, Lukaku's going to be sold, hopefully. Who's our number 9? Because I think there was this feeling that it was going to be Marcus Rashford. But then Anthony Martial, who, in fairness, up until today, I think he'd had a similar tour to Jesse Lingard, where he'd been quite quiet. Today, he really announced himself. He had 2 shots on goal, 1 hit the post, 1 went in. His build-up play was good. His press was good. He just looked a far better number 9 than Marcus Rashford. But then Marcus Rashford, I think, didn't really have a team around him in that second half to get the best out of Rashford. So that's interesting, where we're going to go with those 2 players. Obviously, Alexis Sanchez has got to come back as well, who I think is going to be quite significant. But you've got to say, look at that team on the right there. And against Chelsea, obviously it won't be Bailly, but Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, De Gea, Lindelof pick themselves. You move into that midfield 3, and I feel he will go with Matic, Pogba and Lingard. And Matic and Lingard have been really, really poor. The front 3, I think Martial, Rashford and James maybe were the way he goes. And that team's not good enough. It's not good enough. You need to bring a McTominay and a Pereira in there if you're not going to buy anybody. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks for Manchester United. I think the tour in general has been good. I've enjoyed the tour. I think the style of play has been really, really good. But I think we've come out of this tour with a lot more questions than we expected. Over some of the team performances from experienced players like Matic and Lingard. I think there's big question marks over them. And I think more importantly, what I predicted and didn't want to be the case has actually transpired. We've gone on another tour and not signed a player. And this happens a lot with United. We don't sign players when we're on tour, which leaves us a week and a half to do significant transfer business. And significant transfer business can be done, but do you trust them to do it? Do you trust them to get it done? Fuck off. Like, seriously. Suspected spam as well. My fault for having it on ring. But yeah, we need to get some significant transfer business done. But it's not just about Harry Maguire for me, because defensively, I think, we're going to be okay when Harry Maguire comes in. But the midfield is where I'm really, really worried about Manchester United. And I'm not... There's still a biting inside me about Pogba and what's going to happen with him. Has he gone on that tour and behaved professionally because he knows he'll get his move to Real Madrid when he comes back? Or has he gone on that tour and he's going to stay at United and sign a new contract? Or has he gone on that tour, he's still unhappy, but nothing's been resolved? I think it's essential that he stays. I think we've got to keep a player like that. I really, really do. So positives from the game today. I thought Pogba and McTominay played really well. Like, low-key, I thought Pogba had a good game. McTominay played well. Pereira was the standout player for me. Like I say, smash a like if Pereira was your man of the match. I thought Martial played really well. I like Daniel James' energy. I agree with what everyone says about Daniel James. The final product, final ball, whatever you want to call it, is a work in progress. But that's what you get him for £15 million. He is raw around the edges. Mason Greenwood was quiet, but he was disciplined. And he was part of that front 6 that pressed really well. Back 4... Rojo and Smalling may as well have had a cigar on. They had an easy game because they were protected so well by the press. Wan-Bissaka got forward really, really well. Ashley Young was okay. De Gea had nothing to do apart from that one save from Dele Alli. Moving into the second half, Romero, what did he really do? Nothing much. Luke Shaw got forward a lot, but there wasn't really much going on in the final third. Delot the same. Lindelof played well. Bailly got injured. Twansibi was steady when he came on. I thought Fred was steady in the midfield. He looked okay. I thought Matic was very, very poor. Lingard very, very quiet. Rashford didn't have a lot to do. Who else played? Mata just doesn't work in the press for me. I think Mata is the sort of player when you're at home to Bournemouth who've got 9 men and they're parking the bus and you need a goal, you bring Mata on and you try and carve your way through. And Gomes was just... What a goal by Angel Gomes. What a goal by Angel Gomes. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think if Messi scores a goal like that, then, as I said, it's the sort of goal Messi scored. He glided across the ground and passed it in the bottom corner. Easy work. So I was very impressed with Angel Gomes. And I like the fact that over the tour, Gomes has had his moment, Chong has had his moment, and Greenwood's had their moment, because they're the three players that I think we all hope they're going to make a step up to the highest level. Matters too slow, says Captain. I agree with that. Maddison and Bruno and sell Pogba, says Panther Foster. Look, Leo, let me talk about Bruno Fernandes for you very, very quickly. So, look, as I was told in March, Manchester United priority was Bruno Fernandes. As we know, Manchester United have scouted Bruno Fernandes for most of last season. We go into the season, numerous outlets not from Portugal have said that United like Bruno Fernandes and they're looking at Bruno Fernandes. In the last 24 hours, we've had what is effectively from Manchester United Football Club leaking out that they're not interested in Bruno Fernandes. Now, my interpretation of that is, why has that changed? Why is he not a priority? And I think it comes down to what it comes down to every single year. We don't want to pay the money. We don't want to pay the money, and that comes from the board. It comes from the top. We don't want to pay the money for a player that would massively improve us. I mean, he was sensational against Liverpool yesterday. He got a goal and an assist. He's exactly what Manchester United need. And if we are putting it out to the press that we're not interested in him, it just exposes how bad we are at recruitment and why we need a director of football. Because the people in charge of recruitment are, quite frankly, idiots when it comes to footballing decisions. Bruno Fernandes is the most logical midfield option available for Manchester United. He's available for £60 million. He's got goals, he's got tenacity, he's got assists, he's got set-piece delivery. He's perfect for what United need. And forget telling me about Pereira and McTominay, because we need depth. You need 6 good midfielders. We've got 2.5. We need depth in that midfield. He's absolutely perfect. So I hope it's a press release from United to sort of try and drive the price down from Sporting Lisbon. But I fear we've already walked away from that deal because we don't think he's worth 60 million. And he is. Harry Maguire, I think we will do the deal. But again, we might walk away from the deal because we don't want to spend money. And I think that's the situation with United's summer in general. Whether it's selling players or buying players, we've got an inflated opinion on what our players are worth. Like, we think Lukaku's worth £75 million. He's not. We don't think Harry Maguire's worth £80 million. I'm sorry, in today's market he is. We didn't think that Wan-Bissaka was worth £50 million and spent 4 weeks negotiating when he is. We don't think Bruno Fernandes is worth £60 million. He is. We think Darmian's worth £20 million. He isn't. And that's United's. That's why, with 2 weeks to go in the transfer window, we've done next to nothing in and out, because the people at the top who are making... And it's not Ollie. It's not Ollie. He gives a list. I want this player. I don't want this player. It's the board who decide the signings. Mourinho said it. Van Gaal said it. Moyes said it. So we know that's a fact. It's the same people who messed up Moyes' first summer, who messed up Van Gaal's summers, who messed up Mourinho's summers, and are messing up this summer. It's the same people. They should be sacked. They should be removed from that area. Concentrate on bed brand deals and slipper deals and whatever else. Don't concentrate on the football side of things, because this summer has been the same as many other summers. We've wasted it negotiating $1 million off here, $1 million on here, being slow because the people in charge of it think they know about transfers, and they don't. They don't. Wan-Bissaka was a prime example. He was worth £50 million the day we put the first offer in, and we took 4 weeks to do the deal. Harry Maguire's the same. We think we can get him for a realistic price, but it's not what he's worth. It's not what he's worth. So that's where we are with the transfers at the moment. And what are we going to do in 2 weeks? Ultimately, you can play all the hard ball you want, but you're going to have to make decisions, aren't you? So I think with regards to this hard ball we're playing, we'll probably end up having to pay what we should have paid 3 weeks ago in the first place. Or we won't pay anything. But I feel for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because the club are like, you've got to back Ollie and back the players, but they're not backing Ollie. So there's a hypocrisy to that straight away. Let's have a look at some of your comments. But overall, a good tour for Manchester United, a good tour for United, but we do come out of it with more questions than we went into it, logically, because we still do not know what our best team is for Chelsea. And that squad is not good enough. It really is that simple, isn't it? That squad is not that good enough. But I thought Pereira was fantastic today, so please do smash a like on the video if you agree. Tamar Sadar says Pepe's going to Napoli for 45 million now. Doesn't surprise me. Medford, Matic has the quality of Megan Rafina. False Dawn, Slump, False Dawn. Ollie at the wheel. Sky Sports reported that United are bluffing for the Bruno for negotiation tactics. Ex-Ice Cold Killer says Sky reporting Dembele Leon will replace Rom. I don't think Leon will sell. Hat-trick Dogra, the United Stand is the best channel. Love from India. Cheers, mate. Make sure you smash a like. Brendan Rasmussen says, what if we plan on playing Pogba in the deeper position? Savage is the box-to-box. Fernandez is attacking midfield sub. Angel, Pereira, McTominay again. I think you're dreaming, Brandon. We're not going to sign those sort of players. McTominay played Pogba-like passes, ready for first team. He was good, fervent nut. Thanks for the contribution, Casper ID. Sky Sources report Manchester United end interest in Fernandez as ECW 222. Andre the Beard, Mark, do you think we'll be forced to buy a centre-back? We did that one. Brandon, can Sergej Milinkovic-Savic play the holding midfielder? Not really. Not really. You want to get the best out of him as an attacker. Lee Goldart, have faith in McTominay to fulfil his potential this season. If we don't find Fernandez, we're idiots. 3, we won't get top 4 with Matic as our CDM. He's dreadful, isn't he? And Shiam, we've read that one as well. So, Manchester United's tour is over. We have got fan cans coming in from Flex. He's over in China, so that's going to be very interesting. Our last video of the tour. But look, Manchester United, you don't learn anything from a tour. You don't learn anything from a tour in relation to what the season's going to be. Andreas Pereira has been the standout player on the last 3 or 4 tours and hardly got played in the season. I think the positives are, for me, the way we played football, the way we press, the way we look to play on the front foot when Matic isn't on the pitch. And also some of the younger players that have stepped up, the Pereiras, the McTominays, the Wan-Bissaka, I consider him a young player even though we've signed him. Daniel James, Angel Gomes, Mason Greenwood. These players are players that you can build a legacy on, but we need to bring some experienced players in to work with them. And then by experienced, I don't mean 30-year-olds. I mean Bruno Fernandes, 24, proven. I mean Harry Maguire, 26, proven. That's what we need to do at Manchester United. Thanks everyone for watching. Hang about for the fan cams. They'll be coming up this afternoon. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. It's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. And it's going to be very interesting from tomorrow lunchtime on the United Stand. So make sure you subscribe and got your notifications on. All I'm going to say is pineapples. I'll speak to you soon.